Invalid Signatures and Proof of Non-Consent. March 5, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. As several public discussions have revealed, people still are not grasping why the birth certificates and lack of disclosure concerning these records are important. No contract lacking full disclosure and a meeting of the minds is valid. Was your mother given full disclosure regarding the documents she was signing at the hospital? No, most likely the doctors who signed as witnesses were not aware what was going on, either. And there is absolutely no doubt that you, as a tiny baby, were totally unaware of what these others were doing or saying about you. If your mother is still alive, you can have her directly testify about what she was or was not told by the hospital staff. When my mother found out, she was already very old, but she was still hopping mad, and she issued and recorded a 6-page testimony raking the whole false claim over the coals for both my sister and I. She was highly offended by the whole idea that anyone would mistake her for an unwed mother or claim that she ever gave up any interest in her own children or failed to support us and pay her bills. She was ready to tear apart any priest or politician within 100 miles. All mothers across America need to do the same. Repudiate the whole hospital paper chain and record your repudiation for the sake of your children. Then, use our baby deed to record the proper political status of your children as Americans, even though they may be long gone and grown. This helps preserve their valid claim to be Americans, not any species of United States citizen at all. What results from all this non-disclosure from your perspective, is known as an unconscionable contract, literally, a contract that you are unaware of, and no such contract is binding upon you. We have had hundreds of court cases dismissed, simply by people bringing their BCs into courts and claiming unconscionable contract and repudiating all claims of foreign citizenship. This is where the whole issue of jurisdiction hits pedal to the metal, and this is why BCs are important and the reason that having witnesses on the record who can affirm who you are and where you came from is important, too. Also, because Americans are never taught anything about the foreign courts or paperwork conventions, their signatures in script cannot be taken as evidence that they were knowingly acting in the international jurisdiction of the sea when they signed documents. We are supposed to sign documents by printing our names in upper and lower case, just as we learned in grade school, when signing on the land and soil, and to use cursive signatures when signing things in the international jurisdiction of the sea. For all intents and purposes, then, no jurisdictional meaning can be implied from the way Americans sign things. None of us were taught anything about the jurisdictions of the law or the forms of signatures in any school course anywhere in the country, so there is no basis for presumption based on the form of the signatures on anything signed by an American in the past 100 years. Even my grandfather was unaware of this signature convention of British law, and he was born in 1861. And again, you cannot be held responsible for acts undertaken without full disclosure. The jurisdictional implications of the form of signature was never disclosed. Just recently, researchers in Florida discovered that the foreign private courts that have been acting as carpetbagger courts throughout our country have been operating under policies and procedures adopted almost 400 years ago in the aftermath of the Great Fire of London in 1666. They have also discovered the Bounty Book written by King James I, which explains the entire scam that has been applied against us here. In the course of this research, they have also then discovered what our ancestors did to shut these courts down, and that disciplinary action has begun in the Deep South. We now have reports of 10 such courts being shut down and the attorneys literally bugging out, packing their cars in the middle of the night and being gone by morning. Carpetbaggers, indeed. This is just the beginning of the end for the privateers that have been ravaging our country, and many questions still remain, but this much is clear: some of them are fully aware of what they are doing, and the word of these court closures will quickly spread in the legal community. We finally have the weather gauge on them, and it won't be long before these corrupt and rapacious courts are a thing of the past. And then we are going to bypass all the funny business of corporations claiming bankruptcy and bypass the U.S. trustees and go straight to the organizations chartering these corporations, the governments of Westminster, the UK, and the Holy See. These foreign governments are responsible for the actions of their corporations on our soil. They are also bound by treaty and covenant and convention to serve the American states and people in good faith, which they have conspired to evade by deliberately allowing their corporations to engage in conspiracy to misidentify Americans as citizens of the United States or U.S. citizens. We have original copies of their 1937 Declaration of Interdependence of the Governments in the United States, and we are coming straight down the turnpike. The UK, Westminster, and the Holy See are caught red-handed and dead to rights in front of God and everyone else. So, your BC is proof of unconscionable contract and of fraud being practiced against you within days of your appearance in this world. It is hard evidence that you are the victim of crime, so long as you can reasonably prove who you are and the provenance of your family as Americans or properly naturalized United States citizens who have adopted the land and soil of an American state as your permanent home and domicile. Get started filling out and recording the paperwork based on Anna's article number 928 at theamericanstatesassembly.net/correct-your-status. Thank you. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna and the Living Law Firm by visiting theamericanstatesassembly.net. Scroll to the bottom and click on the Donate Now button. Thank you. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website sacredintuitiveelements.com. Thank you.